Today we were talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is tattoo regret. I got a bunch of videos, we're gonna go through them, we're gonna talk about them. Let's get into it.
When I was like 19 and getting all of these stupid tattoos, you know what I said to my mom when she was complaining about it? I was like, it's fine, Mom. In 10 years, if I'm sick of them, the way technology is advancing, there's gonna be a way that I can just snap my fingers and get rid of them easy. Who fucking won that argument?
So, that's a pretty common idea of young idiots. The idea that we're gonna just be able to get rid of our tattoos like nothing, never gonna happen. Not in our lifetime, and maybe never in any lifetime. You can get laser, it's extremely expensive, extremely painful, very dumb idea. To use that as like a backstop to your bad idea making, like, oh, I'm just gonna get these tattoos because someday if I don't like them, I'm gonna get them lasered. It's an absolutely stupid way to think about tattoos, and I hear it a lot. I hear people saying that all the time. Look, tattoos, at this current moment, they are permanent, and laser is not particularly good. It's not. It's extremely expensive, extremely painful, and the results are kind of, to use a term that the kids are using for all you kids, mid. They fucking suck. The results suck. Okay? I've seen tons and tons and tons of laser. There's almost never been a time where someone told me that they got lasered and I couldn't tell that there was either something still there or the skin tissue was so scarred that I could tell like something happened there. I don't know exactly what. It looks like fucked up somehow. So, laser's trash. Your tattoos are permanent. Tattoo regret sometimes comes because people think, I could just get rid of them later on. It's not happening. Let's go to the next one. Suck blood and fuck forever. That is a statement and a half. I'm not surprised that whoever got that tattooed on them is wanting to laser or get rid of that phrase. It's a pretty gnarly phrase to have tattooed on themselves. You know, suck blood and fuck forever. Look, sometimes kids are gnarlier and they get softer with age, you know? If you live long enough, you know, make it to 30, you're gonna think 20-year-old self was stupid and too gnarly. And you're gonna grow up and you're gonna get softer and softer. You're gonna get less likely to think that the things that you thought were cool at 20 are cool now. Yeah, that one's crazy. No surprise here. Look, stupid ass tattoo. Stupid, and it looks like crap too. On to the next.
You ever seen one of your old tattoos and cringe?
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. Ew.
Can you cover up that butterfly?
Okay, so this is a conversation between a tatter and a client. They look like friends, you know? I got a lot of friends out there who have tattoos from me. Those poor guys, dude. Those poor guys made a lot of decisions to help me out, to get better at tattooing. Look, you got a friend who's a tattooer, don't get tattooed by them. Not too often. You know, be cautious with them. Because I got a lot of buddies with a lot of shit-ass tattoos, and every tattooer I know has a lot of buddies with some shit-ass tattoos. I don't think too many of my friends are regretting their tattoos currently, but maybe a few of them definitely do. I definitely have a lot of tattoo regret when it comes to doing some tattoos. I think about it all the time. Some of my friends like pick on me by just showing me an old tattoo, and they know how uncomfortable I'm gonna get about it. It's something to think about, guys. Look, you got a friend who's a tattooer, which everybody nowadays has a friend who's a tattooer. Like every single person knows someone, right? Who's like a young kid who wants to be a tattooer, and you try and help them out by getting some free tattoos, and you end up with some crappy ass tattoos. Like, you're a good friend, but maybe don't consider getting tattooed by those people. Next, tattoo regret. Okay, let's see this one.
What are you doing getting a spontaneous tattoo? I'm not sure I fully understand the thought process behind getting a spontaneous tattoo.
The beginning of this video starts with him saying, I don't fully understand the thought process behind someone getting a spontaneous tattoo, which to me, tells me, is not a person to get tattooed. You're either about it or you're not. And sometimes there's happy people who are really nitpicky and they end up with happy with the results. That's fine. But the vast majority don't. I'm not sold, you know? I'm way more about people not getting tattooed than I am about them getting tattooed. On to the next.
This is what my finger looks like. Do not get matching tattoos with your significant other.
Okay, so obviously that looks a lot lighter. Her finger looks a lot lighter than the rest of her fingers.
Learn from this video, please. Learn from me.
Learn something from this!
So yeah, I got a matching tattoo. So there's something I have not been telling you guys. I have been getting hella beauty treatments for the past.
So she's been getting lasered, and what happened here is depigmentation, right? She has dark skin, and now that dark skin is lighter where she was getting the laser of the tattoo. Look, I don't care who you are. Tattoo lasers don't work that well. So if you're darker, you might end up looking lighter where you had a tattoo. If you're lighter and you try and remove the tattoo, you still might end up with lighter skin. It might end up looking like a scar is underneath there. It's just not a very reliable thing to do. Tat laser, my guy.
It's 2 years. I mean, so many treatments. And I'd always planned on sharing them, but I wanted to like do them first because I have noticed that within the deep dark skin community, there's such a lack of information on beauty treatments and like things that work for deeper skin tones like lasers and stuff like that. And welcome to Deep Dark Beauty, where I talk about all of the beauty treatments that I've had done. I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about all of the beauty treatments that I've had done, but I love sharing information.
So that's very true. I mean, like, you know, different skin tones behave differently with laser. She's gonna tell you how much she spent on each session. I wanna get to that part.
So yeah, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. So I got tattoo removal a couple years ago. One thing I noticed right away is when I started doing research for tattoo removal was there was a huge probability of hypopigmentation, which is exactly what I have on my finger. I got hypopigmentation. It started appearing around like the 6th or 7th session. And that's when I was like, ugh, whatever. I was hoping that I was not gonna get it, but I got it. So the price at the time when I got it, I went to Laser Away and it was $1,200 per session.
$1,200 per session times 5, that's a shit ton of money, dude. Look, you wanna get tattooed? Great, I love you. I support you, I'm into it. But bros, if you think laser's a good way of getting rid of tattoos, it's not. It's bullshit. It's a fucking half of it's phony, half of it's a fraud, half of it's a lie, some of it's a scam. It's just not that reliable. And I wish it was. I wish that we could all just laser our tats whenever we want. We can't. So when you go into this tattoo process, know that you might regret this shit. And there are no good options. You might just have a fucking dumbass tattoo the rest of your goddamn life.
I regret every single tattoo that I have on my body. This is your sign to not be an impulsive person when it comes to tattoos.
So everything that she said is for the most part true, and I'm going to share with you a little trick on how I go about getting tattoos so I don't regret them down the road. Now, I have about 70% of my body covered in tattoos. I'm working towards a full bodysuit, and in the last decade that I've been really collecting these tattoos, I've learned a lot about them. I've talked to a lot of people about them, and I've also experienced tattoo regret for myself. I had one on my chest that I lasered off and covered up with this thing, and I'm also currently removing, as we speak, the one on my ribs. Now, I see it all the time. Somebody will go ahead and get their first tattoo, and then within the span of like 6 months, they've collected like 4 or 5 more tattoos without really thinking about the ideas. They just went and got it on an impulse. So that is why I'm going to share with you my little tip, and that is if you have any tattoo idea, think about it for 4 to 6 months, and in that time, if you've ever second guessed that tattoo idea, shut down that idea right then and there and just don't get it, because if you're already second guessing it then you're definitely going to second guess and regret it once it's on you.
Okay, so I've been super critical of that guy, what's his name? Just Inked Tats. I think some of the tattoos he showcases and highlights are really bad and dumb looking, but you know what? I think that's some fairly okay advice. I want to immediately say that it's wrong because that is the nature of me. But, you know, you wait 4 to 6 months and you think about a tattoo, and at the end of that, you really still like the idea. It's probably still a good idea to get it tattooed. It's probably a good idea to get it tattooed. But there's a lot more that goes into tattoo regret. For me, I think what's most important is the quality. Most people who regret their tattoos are either picking just dumb shit and they should have thought about it for 10 seconds rather than like a super stupid quick thing, or they're people who regret the quality of the tattoo. It's like, it happens a lot. Getting crappy ass tattoos, not spending the money to get a good one, not going to an artist who can tell you like, hey, this is a dumb fucking idea, maybe you shouldn't get that, or whatever. So good enough advice for tat regret. Think about it for 4 to 6 months, whatever. Very clinical, I like it. On to the next.
I am older and I do regret my tattoos.
I kind of hate being a tattooed person.
Something I've never personally understood is getting a whole body part done in one tattoo and in one session.
My body was completely blank. I don't know if I would have gotten anything this big and bold.
I know it's quite popular, but to be like, okay, right now I love fish, so I'm gonna get a whole aquarium from my shoulder to my fingertips, seems mad to me. And it's actually why I've been kind of drawn to the smaller patchwork style of little things that I like built over a period of time. Start small and slow.
Okay, so partially it is true. Maybe you should get a small tattoo. But also this is some of the dumbest fucking advice. Look, some tattoo styles require you to go big right from the start. Just normal. Like you want a Japanese sleeve, you're gonna have to have enough sleeves. He's criticizing getting big pieces because he specializes in small, dainty fucking tattoos. And for me, of all the tattoos that are most regretted by the vast majority of people, they end up being these small, dainty little things. Little nothing tattoos that are just like drive people crazy. So like, it's funny to me that he's like, oh, getting these big old things is why people regret tattoos. Nah, dude. People are regretting those dinky, shit-ass tattoos because they're not meant to have big tattoos. You know, these aren't tattooed people. They're just not. I know, like, I keep going back to this, but like, truly, if you're a not everyone is meant to have a lifelong image on their body. It will drive so many people fucking crazy. And so many people, since Miley Cyrus started getting little chingadera tats, dude, so many people have been getting tattooed, and 90% of them do not need tattoos or want tattoos. And now that it's not so popular or it's losing popularity, they're starting to regret it more and more and more and more and more. Dude, know yourself. Most of you fucking people who watch this channel, I'm sure, are tattooed people. But if you're a young person, you don't have tattoos, and maybe you're thinking about getting a tattoo so you watch this, maybe get tattooed. But also, maybe you're not that person. Maybe you're better off dyeing your hair purple. I don't know. Shit ass tattoos. And very few people who commit to large pieces, like I'm gonna get a full Japanese back piece. Those people aren't regretting getting their Japanese back pieces or their blacked out legs. Like, no, it's not those people.
And cover with clothes. This way you can see what style you like and you can slowly build your aesthetic. Which leads on to the next point, which is try to...
I also think that there's like this thing about like aesthetic. Like your body's somehow gonna be a fucking Pinterest board. Like, no, dude. No, that's not how it works. You're not picking the aesthetic, the look you're going for this week. This is fucking tattoos, dude. You're either gonna have tattoos or you're not gonna have tattoos. There's no like... People picking and choosing tattoos like they're picking a jacket. Like that's not how it works, dude. The shit is forever. So you're either about it or you're not.
Try to make sure that you're expressing yourself and not someone else's self.
I don't know. Who am I?
It sounds corny as shit, but the better you know yourself, the less chance you have of experiencing tattoo regret. Do you hop between trends and suddenly one morning you wake up with a mullet and a moustache? Or have you pretty much had the same style for a while? If it's the former, I think it might be wise to wait until you're 25 or so to get a tattoo.
All of these tattoos don't necessarily reflect who I am at 36. They might have reflected.
See what I'm saying? Like people are talking about tattoos like they're like a purse or a belt. It's like, dude, no, these are tattoos. Like if you want to get tattooed, I hope you understand the style of tattooing that you really like and you go from the beginning and that's great, blah, 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 blah. But most of us don't. And most of us don't care. You know, like any really tattooed person who's committed to it, who don't really fucking, they're not sitting around complaining about their tattoos every day. We don't really give a shit about the tattoos we have, you know? Because it's like, dude, they're just there. We like them. We enjoyed it. We did it. That's it.
At a moment in time in my 20s.
The third point is, how much do you really care about how you look? How much do you care about how other people see you? Now, obviously we all care about how we look to some degree, but I think it is kind of like a scale. Try to think about what you're like. What would future you say? Like, I love all my tattoos, but if someone that was a little bit more worried about having a kind of cleaner aesthetic had my tattoos, I think it would suck quite quickly for them. Okay, bye.
That is probably the only piece of advice from all of this. Like, there are people who look in the mirror and criticize every single thing about themselves to oblivion. If you throw on a tattoo, you're gonna do the same thing. That's not me. That's probably not any of the people I know who have tattoos. We don't look in the mirror and we don't fucking complain about every goddamn thing. One, if you are that person experiencing that, I am sorry. That fucking sucks. Don't fucking get a tattoo because you're just adding something else onto a list of already things that you wish were perfect that aren't perfect. Bros, tattoo regret. You shouldn't do it. Don't get tattooed. Cue the music. Don't get fucking tattooed. This tattoo regret made me fucking laugh. He has a Drake tattoo, which I always think is weird when people get tattoos of celebrities. And because, you know, Drake might be a fucking weirdo, he got a Kendrick, the king, dude. I hope that Kendrick never comes out as a weirdo because this tattoo is not gonna be covered up very easily without blacking out the entire thing. But this is like another form of tat regret, dude. Getting silly, dumbass tattoos that you shouldn't get, and then you need to cover them up with something else shitty and crappy to me, in my opinion. You know, why are you getting a portrait of someone else? Even though Kendrick's the man. For all my LA people, I'm a Kendrick fan. But don't get his fucking face tattooed on you. And over Drake, it's just weird. This is very childish of me. But there is something funny about putting another man's face next to your crotch. I know that this is a childish statement to make, but if there was another man's face next to my crotch, I would be kind of embarrassed. I'd be 100% embarrassed. Like, bruh, no. I mean, I wouldn't want another man tattooed on me anyways because that just seems weird. You know, my dad's a smart man. He says very few things. And when I was a kiddo, I'd always want to wear a baseball jersey. And I'd be like, hey, Dad, why don't you wear fucking Mike Piazza's Dodger jersey? And my dad said something along the lines of like, when I grow up, I don't want to be fucking Mike Piazza. He's like, I'm old. I want to be me. And like, that's how I kind of feel when people get portraits of other people, other celebrities. It's like, you want to be Kendrick when you're like, that's how much you admire someone, that you want to be them or you want to be like them or you want to fucking put them on you forever. I don't know. Fandom shit, I don't understand. I'll never understand. And when it's in tattoo form, I'm like, ugh, nasty. Next.
My worst tattoo, I might show you. I'll do like a little, yeah, I'll show you. It's fucking awful. Yeah, this babe, Melancholy Whale, and it's a stick man riding the Melancholy Whale. The reason this is my worst tattoo is because I just let one of my friends.
Party tats, dude. She's gonna tell you that it's a party tat. Party tats are some of the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And the amount of people that like regret, you know what's funny to me? Sometimes I'll see young people that don't seem like wild having like stick and poke tattoos and I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you? If you had some at-home tats 10 years ago, you were like either like into punk or you're kind of just like an edgy kid, probably around doing gnarly shit. Now it's like frat boys and frat girls, or what are they called? Sorority girls that have like these stick and poke tats. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Who is bringing this into that type of culture? Like it used to be so fringe and now it's like you're, you know, just like the cheerleaders at school have stick and pokes. It's a weird thing. If someone brings out a tat gun at a party, tell them to fuck off. Break that machine, throw it on the floor, tell them Kirk sent you, fuck them.
Imagine, if you will, that you put a shirt on once when you were in your 20s, and now you have to wear that for the rest of your life. And that is what it feels like to get heavily tattooed before you turn into a fully developed adult human. I wanted to talk about this.
So we already watched part of her talking, but I want to watch the whole thing.
Like a lot of reasons to regret my tattoos, but today specifically I wanted to talk about not matching my aesthetic, right? So I think if you asked almost anybody that's over 30, if they have a better idea of who they are in their 30s than they did in their 20s, they're gonna be like, oh my God, yes. I have all of these tattoos that don't necessarily reflect who I am at 36.
I'm not sure what someone's trying to reflect. I kind of think that people talk about tattoos and they kind of give too much credit to tattoos. You know, like, what are you trying to reflect? Like, what inner part of your child are you trying to reflect onto the world that will better exemplify who you are as a person? There's fucking nothing, dude. My tattoos don't say shit about me, okay? Your tattoos don't say shit about you either. So, like, when people are like, it doesn't match my aesthetic, it's like, well, bro, duh. Obviously, it didn't match your aesthetic then. Your aesthetic, what was, when you were 20 was like what? You shopped at fucking Hollister? I don't know. I just kind of think that people give too much credit. They care too much. They care too much or they don't care enough. It's like one or the other. It's like you need a balance, dude. These tattoos will be on me forever. I'm very happy about that. But that doesn't mean they're like saying something about who I am as a person.
They might have reflected a moment in time in my 20s, maybe a moment in time that I was like not doing so well mentally.
I ended it there because I hated that part. Like, I know. Mental health, it's such an important thing these days. It's talked about like it's, you know, I'm sorry that you got some tattoos during bad times. It's when people get tattooed. I don't know. I don't know how much of this has anything to do with tattoo regret anymore, other than it just has me frustrated. Because like deep down inside, I really wish people were making better decisions when it comes to tattoos. I wish the people who regret their tattoos wouldn't get tattooed at all. And I wish the people who were about getting tattooed would get better tattoos. That is the core of this channel. That is the core of this episode. This tat regret episode. And so if it sounds like I'm harsh, it's coming from a place where I see it, dude. I sit here, right here, every single day and I talk to people and they tell me how much they regret some fucking tattoo they got, you know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 5 weeks ago. And I fucking want to cry for them because I could see the pain, you know? I had someone come in 2 days ago saying they regretted a tattoo that they got 2 days before that. So we got one last one for you, dudes.
I hate almost all of my tattoos and I realise that is such a horrible thing to admit.
Having tattoos in 2024 does not make you unique anymore.
So, getting tattooed, you need to be careful. Make sure the things you're getting are exactly what you want. Make sure you're spending the money for a good quality tattoo. Make sure that it's at least you're as positive as you can be, that you're gonna enjoy this tattoo forever. That is it. I appreciate you. I'll see you in a few days.